Guys, let's talk about PSG versus Arsenal. But before we do that, who do you think is going to win? Let me know your answer down below in the comments. For me, I believe that Thomas Partey being back alone is a major boost for Arsenal. So I'm tipping Arsenal to win. Now, Thomas Partey being back is very exciting news for everyone because Thomas Partey missing the first leg against PSG cost Arsenal a lot. Arsenal lost the first leg by 1-0. In fact, in that game, I believe Arsenal could have also scored a goal, but players like Martinelli and Trossard were not clinical enough. So in today's video, I want to tell you what Thomas Partey would bring into the game for Arsenal and also what approach I believe Mikel Arteta should use. And the mistakes they did in the first leg that they should not repeat in the second leg against PSG. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. You're watching SportsCornerGH. Quickly, let's jump into it. Now, when Arsenal played against PSG at the Emirates Stadium, one player was missing, Thomas Partey. That means that Arsenal needed to do some changes in their squad. So we saw Mikel Merino come back in midfield, and we saw Trossard slotting in up front. It did not work for Arsenal. I'm not going to lie. If you watch that game and if you see the way PSG played, you understand that PSG came with a game plan and they executed it in the first 20 to 25 minutes. Looking at the goal PSG scored in that game in the first leg, take a look at this picture and it paints a better, clear example of what PSG was trying to do. It was not individual brilliance. This was something that was worked on training grounds and then they implemented it on the pitch. Dembele dropping deep to pick up the ball and being at the end of it, scoring that goal for PSG. So they had only one goal in the game and that was the end. But that is an advantage to Arsenal because it's still an open game. Now, ahead of the game, this is what Declan Rice had to say about Thomas Partey being back to the squad. Now, he said this. He says that the best thing about playing with Thomas Partey is the calmness he brings to play with the team. Before I came to Arsenal, there was so much talk about how good he is. He does not always get the recognition he deserves. I'm quite lucky Thomas Partey is there and he lets me roam up and down. This is the importance Thomas Partey brings to the Arsenal team. And that is what Declan Rice is saying. We all saw that in the first leg, Arsenal were lacking something. Is the ability for Declan Rice, is the ability for Martin Odegaard to quick, to move forward, have the lancings to scan and also give incisive passes. They were not able to do that in the first leg. And from Declan Rice's own mouth, he says that Thomas Partey gives you the lancings to do that. Now, the goal PSG scored, trust you me, if Thomas Partey was in that game in the first leg, I'm sure he would have intercepted or done a professional foul just to disrupt PSG in that game. Now, Mikel Arteta going into the game needs to go in with a different approach. I don't think Arsenal should approach the game with the mind of possessing the football. You are going to play away from home. You don't have a lot of your fans there. So definitely PSG are going to have their fans making more noise, sharing them up. So you need to go there with the mentality of winning. Yesterday, we saw Inter Milan versus Barcelona. Barcelona possessed the ball, but Inter Milan ended up winning the game. It's when you're playing tournaments like this, it's about winning. It's not about possessing the football. And this is what Mikel Arteta needs to tell these players. And that is the mentality you need to send into, the semi-finals, the second leg. Arsenal actually needs that mentality. Don't go there and be possessing ball too much and be wasting time. You need to get at least a goal in the first 15 minutes. That is for Arsenal, because it will be detrimental to their chances of going to the finals if PSG ends up scoring the first goal in that game, especially in the first half. Most of these players do not have the mentality to play the game and even do a comeback. Most of these Arsenal players do not have that mentality, that winning mentality. So for Arsenal to be on the safer side, what do? You actually score first and silence the crowd in the stadium. So Mikel Arteta's approach would be very simple: to psych these boys up to score a first goal. Secondly, Thomas Partey being back is very good for Arsenal. Look, in the first leg, you and I would attest to the fact that Martin Odegaard was not able to create enough chances for Arsenal. Declan Rice was sitting in deep. Mikel Merino was only important for Arsenal, especially going forward. He scored a goal in the game, but VAR ruled it offside. So you could see this is a player that needs to stay up front. So Mikel Merino needs to stay up front. Thomas Partey being back gives the license to Odegaard and Declan Rice to move forward, because Thomas Partey alone in that midfield can bully Vitina, can bully João Neves, and can also bully Fabian Ruiz. So this is what Thomas Partey brings into the team. And Thomas Partey is one player that has the ability to give you a very good pass. Thomas Partey can locate you 30, 50 yards and can give you that pass. Thomas Partey can give you defense-splitting passes. And that is why Arsenal needs Thomas Partey today. Thomas Partey is one player that today we are all going to talk about after the game. Trust me. And I believe Arsenal needs to be clinical at the end of the day. See, Thomas Partey can do all he has to do. But if players like Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Mikel Merino up front are not clinical, then Thomas Partey's job in today's game is going to be cost 90. No one is going to talk about how good you were, blah, 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 if you don't win. Arsenal has to win. You see the likes of Manchester United going to the Europa League finals. You see the likes of Chelsea going to the Conference League finals. So if Arsenal today do not go to the finals of the UCL, I mean, there'll be a laughing stock. And they're already a laughing stock past seasons, because it's been 5 seasons for Mikel Arteta. Arsenal fans are waiting for him to land a major trophy, be it the EPL or the UCL. Now the EPL is gone, so now they have to focus on the UCL. And as a Ghanaian, I want to see Thomas Partey win that. I want to see him win it, because he has really worked hard this season for that. So it pains me a lot that he was not part of the first leg because of that yellow card he received when Arsenal played against Real Madrid. Because if he was in that game, at least Arsenal could have walked away with a draw or probably won that game. But all is not lost. Thomas Partey being back is very good for Arsenal. But then, as much as I want to talk about Arsenal, PSG are a very dangerous side. I've talked about Arsenal a lot without talking about what danger PSG possesses. They are up front. The 3 players up there are very dangerous. Kvaratskhelia, Ousmane Dembele, and Doue. These are 3 players who can switch positions, who can play very well, who can succeed in 1v1 situation and are very clinical. Now, what I noticed from the first leg was that anytime Ousmane Dembele draws deep and draws an Arsenal defender with him, what you notice is that you see either Doue or Kvaratskhelia dropping in to cover up those spaces that have been left up. And that is an excellent way of doing things. You could see that definitely Luis Enrique is doing an excellent job with this PSG team. Looking at their midfield also, Vitina controlled the midfield in the first leg. He's not going to get that in the second leg with Thomas Partey back, but definitely he's a brilliant player and they're going to have their time in the game. So this is a team that has a pretty decent midfield, but a very excellent forward. Their defense, I don't think is that strong, because Marquinhos and Pacho are not that good as compared to Arsenal's, centre back. You have Saliba, who is very good, except for the fact that quite of late he has been a bit laggy, but then he's exceptionally good. That is why Real Madrid are interested in the player. So with PSG, they have a very balanced squad who can actually worry Arsenal today. As much as I'm talking about Thomas Partey and Arsenal doing what they have to do to win the game, PSG are also on a mission to also win. And they have the advantage of having their fans in the stadium. And the fans play an important role, because if the fans are cheering you up and everything, you end up being energized, motivated to give it your all. So guys, this is what I believe is going to happen in the game. Arsenal is going to give PSG a tough time. But what I hope is that Arsenal comes on top because of Thomas Partey. He deserves it. For me, I want to see a Ghanaian brother, an African brother, go to the finals of the UCL, and I want to see them lift it even. So, guys, this is what I have to say. But then let me know what you think is going to be the scoreline or who is going to win at the end of the day. Arsenal or PSG is going to be an interesting game. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. After the game, we'll come back here with our reaction and analysis and what happened in that game. But please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. Good luck to Arsenal. Good luck to Thomas Partey. Arsenal fans, let me know what you think about this down below in the comments and what you think should be done in the second leg differently. I'll make sure to see you in the next one. Charlie, we go vibe.